question for you. I know the journey's not about comparison, but I've been listening to a lot of your podcasts, and by the way, they're just phenomenal. And so, thank you for all that you do, especially in today's environment. The information that you share and what everybody else shares has tremendously helped me out a lot. So, much gratitude to you and all my brothers and sisters online. But my question is, I hear people talk about Kali and all these deities and whatnot. I've been on the path for almost 4 years, and none of them come to me. Like I don't, none of the goddesses or anything like that. When I meditate, it's really just the Divine Mother. And I'm just curious as to how has other people experienced some of the goddesses coming to them and speaking to them, or them individuals getting connected to the goddesses. I know I'm not missing anything because I'm past that now. But I'm just curious on how that process does happen for an individual. And by the way, I think it's phenomenal when I hear these stories about people who have connected with these other beings and whatnot. And my time might come, maybe not, but just curious on how that happens.
Well, thank you for the support, Lisa. And for everyone, we're all doing this together. It's totally not just me. We're all doing this together. So we're creating all of this content together for one another. And also I was thinking about it for people 10, 20 years down the road, we're going to be going through this process. They could be little kids right now, and one day they might find your comments and questions and whatnot on YouTube or whatever. So thank you all so much, and thank you, Lisa. Yeah, so the encounters with the divine feminine in her many forms, like for example, Kali is one form. Um, Many people will have their own different versions of these encounters. For some, it's just Mother Nature in general, not a particular like sort of anthropomorphized personification of a goddess or a deity. It's more something like nature. Or others, it may be in dreams, just feminine women, young women, older women. These beings come, and there's a very feminine essence there that we may make contact with. Um, it could also be, like you described, this general sense of the Divine Mother as the feminine, without these specific archetypes that get to sort of these subsets of the Divine Feminine. There's Kali and there's Durga and there's Lakshmi. It's like just the Divine Feminine in general. And of course, she's so dynamic and has so much variety that she contains it all. Um, I think it comes down to just tapping into these archetypal energies, and not everybody gets all of them. Some of us just get a few. Imagine if we got all the different archetypes of the divine feminine coming to us, we'd get overwhelmed. So I think a few may be more uh, dominant in your experience, but not all of them. And for some, it's very general. They don't really experience many at all. One thing you can do if you're curious about this is begin to practice in a very gentle way invocations of the various archetypal depictions or energies or presences. Or you could say, in some respects, quite literally, the beings themselves. You can invoke them. And how would you do that? Just remembering them in your own way, chanting their name, remembering their name, contemplating a photo of them, listening to music, where these different deities are revered. Um, this can call them in, and you may actually be blessed with an encounter. And I've had some experiences where I didn't even know this was possible. I remember at one point it wasn't the divine feminine, but I began chanting to Ganesh, Om Gam Ganapate Namaha. And this mantra just kind of took over me, and it just kept happening over and over again. Well, later that night, I had a dream in which I was holding the cutest baby elephant in my arms, and this baby elephant is laughing, and it's just, like, literally the cutest thing I can possibly fathom. And I woke up and I was like, whoa, well, like I guess I invoked baby Ganesh with these mantras. I didn't even know this was a thing. So you can give this a try and see what happens, but be open. It may not come to you in a dream. It may not come to you in a vision. It may be somebody mentions a video or a book or something. And I'm about to mention a book right now, which I think may speak to you. I was just sharing this with someone else yesterday. It's called Dancing in the Flames, the Dark Goddess in the Transformation of Consciousness. But this is a beautiful book describing what they speak of as the reemergence of the divine feminine at this time. This book was written in 1997, but at this time, more and more people are having these encounters with the divine feminine. And the authors are describing that some of them are having them in dreams. So these various archetypes of the goddess are coming in dreams, and they break down all the different meanings, and they talk about Kali, they talk about Kundalini, they talk about the Black Madonnas and what they represent. And it's really, really fascinating stuff. And I think this may be um, a response to your request calling in the goddess. Here's a book which may give you some further ways to relate and understand. Ultimately, especially being a woman, this is you. You are Kali, you are Shakti, you are the divine mother. And so it's not so much that she's out there and you have to look for her. She's you. And so this is another way of approaching it.
Wow, excellent. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I really appreciate you sharing the book. That's something that I'm going to order and read. Um, so thank you very much, Brent. I really appreciate your answer.
Yeah, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. Yeah, it's a really fascinating book. It's a little dense, at least for me. I'm finding it a bit of a high level read because they break down a lot of different symbology, but really jam packed with insightful things about just the power of the feminine, and they break down all the different archetypes of the maiden, the virgin, the mother, the crone. They're just talking about witches, like I was speaking to Axel earlier, that idea of the witch flying on the broom and the broom is kind of erasing any trace as she flies. That's one idea that I got out of this book. So very interesting stuff. So check it out. And yeah, if anyone else checks it out and you want to have a conversation on the Facebook group about it, please do.